Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and the Lions have just beaten the Sharks 27 points to 12, a huge result for the Joburg franchise and a big result in terms of the table, because with that result they do go second ahead of the Sharks, who just couldn't really get into the game. And the Lions pack, who did have more experience than the Sharks pack, just completely dominated. I mean, from the set pieces, the Lions just got into the front foot and they pretty much just camped out inside the Sharks half from pretty much the entire game. And that was the biggest issue with the Sharks, is that they couldn't get into the Lions half for extended periods. But a very good victory and a very big result, because I think the Lions were probably being written off after Super Rugby unlocked. They haven't been at their best. There have been lots of questions raised about the coaching staff. People have been saying that it's a very nice young side, but do they have what it takes to go all the way? Can they really compete? Do they? And I mean, there were even been questions about should they even have been backed to go into the Pro 16. And I think they silenced a lot of doubters in the last 3 weeks, because that is now 3 victories in a row against the Western Province at home, Cheetahs away, Sharks at home. So those are some big sides to go and beat. But before we break down the game, please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner there. Smash a like on the video as well. We are chasing 400 subscribers before the end of the year. We need less than 50, so please do show your support. But right, let's get into it. So if we look at the stats, this is now according to Rugby Pass. The possession was quite equal. Apparently it was 49%. In fact, the Lions apparently had less possession, 49% to 51% of the Sharks. But if you look at defenders beaten, 5 by the Lions, 3 by the Sharks, 2 clean breaks by the Lions, 0 by the Sharks. The Lions conceded 12 turnovers to the Sharks, 14. If you look at the defense, the Lions 102 tackles made and 15 tackles missed, whereas the Sharks made 90 tackles and missed 17. And the Sharks won 6 turnovers. And then if you look at the breakdown, the Lions won 39% of the rucks, whereas the Sharks won 56%. Lions won 4 balls to the Sharks 2. Finally, you look at set plays. Lions lost 2 for each side. Scrums 1. This was the big one. Lions won 6 scrums. The Sharks won just 2. The Lions' scrum success rate was 60%, whereas the Sharks was just 20%. And then for the penalties conceded, Sharks 13, Lions 9. And that was pretty much the game. It was a very tight game where there wasn't much open play. I mean, both backlines, for exciting as they are, didn't have much to do until Wandisile Simelane sort of set the game alight with a fantastic run to create the match-winning try. And there are 2 players I'm gonna call out for the Lions. The first is Willem Alberts. He was absolutely immense. He carried the ball up 6 times more than any other player. He had 2 huge tackles, one on Sikamboza Noche, one on Marius Lowe, where Marius Lowe was running full tilt and unfortunately ran into the brick that is Willem Alberts. He was immense. You look at the defense here, Willem Alberts made 9 tackles. Only Jaco Kriel with 10 and Len Maseng with 10 made more. Sorry, Jacob Asaki made 13 actually. So that was the big thing about the Lions. Their defense was so good. But Willem Alberts put his hand up and played very well. And Wandisile Simelane created the match-winning try, but he also borderline saved 2 tries by forcing a knock-on. There was an opportunity where the Sharks were going wide, and Lukhanyo took his eyes off the ball because Wandisile Simelane ran up very quickly, put the pressure on him, and knocked him on. And then when a few minutes later, the Sharks were on the front foot, Oxenchair picked up a ball from the ruck and had nobody in front of him, and looked like and the Sharks suddenly looked like they were going to be able to progress. And when Wandisile Simelane managed to wrap his arms around him and force a knock-on as well. So a fantastic game by him, as well as Willem Alberts. Jaco Kriel worked really, really hard, as did the entire loose trio, really. I mean, between the loose trio, they had 28 tackles. So a huge effort from them. And you look at the Sharks, tackles, Spoon Corsi made 10 tackles, he missed 2, sorry. Henke Venter made 7. Aston Fortain worked very hard, but the Sharks just couldn't break down the Lions. They had possession, but they couldn't get into the Lions half because the Lions defense was so good. And you look at the kicks and stuff like that. Curran Bosch made 9 kicks and then under made 6 kicks. The aerial battle was a major part of the entire game, and the Lions did struggle a bit under the high ball. But I just felt at times the Sharks would have benefited more by keeping the ball in hand and trying to just wear down the Lions defense. Because the problem is that when they just kept kicking possession away, and even if they got a few penalties, and Curran Bosch kicked for balls brilliantly, 2 kicks from his own half, they just they just couldn't catch up to the Lions and didn't have opportunities to convert those points. And I just felt that at times I think the Sharks would have benefited from keeping the ball in hand and trying to pick apart the Lions' defense, which, to be fair, today worked very hard. And that's been a big part of the Lions' resurgence in the last few weeks. A very good defense where they're not conceding a lot of points, or at least, not conceding too much territory and keeping the game away from the sort of danger areas. But yeah, so a very good performance from the Lions. And the Sharks will have to sort of relook at it. It was a very inexperienced pack, especially when you look at Aston Fontaine on debut, JJ van der Merwe, the youngster, Michael Kumburai. Dylan Smith had his number the entire game, and that was a huge reason why the Lions had that front foot ball, because Dylan Smith just gave Michael Kumburai hell the entire game, and he just couldn't cope, And Dylan Smith, who's been on the bench and warming it for Steve Satole, came in with a massive effort, and that's what you like to see, when players get the chance to play. And they put in big performances. No Vince Tuka, no Steve Satole, two of the Lions' better performing players. And I thought Willem van der Sluys and Dylan Smith stepped up very well. Discipline was a problem for both sides, and some stupid penalties. Marvin Orie guilty of two fairly needless, fairly careless penalties. And the Sharks as well. Just a couple of sometimes discipline just letting them down. It wasn't the most free-flowing game. It wasn't a game for the ages in terms of watching attacking play. It was two sides just going at each other again and again and again, trying to see if they can wear down the defense. And largely, for even both sides, relatively unsuccessfully, because both sides' defense was fairly solid. That's why there was only 2 tries in the entire match. But the Lions deserved victors. They do go second. The Sharks will have to have a rethink ahead of the 2 big matches next weekend. So the Lions take on the Bulls, and the Bulls will put out a good side to ensure that they keep that number 1 spot. And the Sharks travel away again against the Cheetahs, who had a good comeback against the Pumas. So a very interesting result in the context of the competition. It does mean a few changes in terms of where everybody lines up. It means that the top 4 is pretty much set. The Free State Cheetahs will have to beat the Sharks and hope for a favor along the way if they are to get anywhere further in the competition. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the game down below. Please do subscribe, smash a like on the channel as well. We'll be back tomorrow with a roundup of the weekend of rugby. But until then, my name is Stephen, and thank you very much for watching.